The ghost of the Cretaceous forests. 30 million years ago, in the dense woodlands of ancient Utah, a rustling stirred the undergrowth. A feathered head emerged, eyes sharp, claws glinting, but this was no ordinary predator. This was Falcarius, the sickle-handed mystery of the dinosaur world. Was it a hunter turned gentle giant? A forgotten monster of legend? Or something even stranger? For centuries, whispers of this creature have lingered, in fossilized bones, Native American tales, and even old miners' ghost stories. Now, for the first time, the full story of Falcarius is revealed, where science meets myth, and history comes alive. The discovery, a dinosaur unlike any other. The Bone Wars and the first clues. In the dusty badlands of western states, a race was underway, a race that would change our understanding of prehistoric life forever. The year was 1876, and two men, Othniel Charles Marsh and Edward Drinker Cope, were locked in a battle of wits and wills. They were the best, or maybe the worst, paleontologists of their time, and they wanted to find the biggest, baddest dinosaurs to win the fame and glory. What they didn't know was that neither of them would find Falcarius. It took 123 years for that honor to go to James Kirkland. He was a paleontologist working for the Utah Geological Survey in 1999 when he stumbled upon a huge trove of fossilized bones near the town of Delta, Utah. Among the haul were parts of at least 40 dinosaurs, all of them weird and wonderful in their own way. There were horned dinosaurs called Centrosaurus, duck-billed hadrosaurs, and mysterious beasts like the recently discovered Utah raptor. But there was also something different, a small handful of bones that didn't fit with any of the other dinosaurs. And they would soon become famous as those bones belonged to Falcarius. Now let's ask the big question, why was Falcarius such a mystery? Well, for starters, it was only represented by a few scraps of bone, a partial jaw, some vertebrae, and those iconic sickles. Also, it was missing some key features that could help us figure out what it was, like its skull, feathers, and claws. Plus, no one had ever found anything quite like it before. It had sharp claws like a raptor, but teeth built for plants. It was unlike anything scientists had ever seen. Fun fact, the name Falcarius means sickle maker because of its curved claws, but unlike its cousin Utahraptor, this dinosaur wasn't a fierce hunter. Meet Falcarius, the sloth-like dinosaur. As scientists dug deeper into the mystery of Falcarius, they uncovered more clues that painted a strange picture of this sloth-like beast. Falcarius was part of the therizinosauripod family, a group of long-necked, pot-bellied, feathered dinosaurs with giant claws and small heads. But don't let its size fool you. Despite being about 13 feet long, Falcarius was probably lightweight, like a cow, not a heavyweight. Its forelimbs were short and stout, ending in two enormous claws that could slash and hook like sickles. But instead of using them to hunt, Falcarius probably used them to strip leaves from branches and get at the tasty buds and fruit inside. Yep, this dinosaur was a herbivore, not a carnivore. But wait, there's more. Falcarius also had a long neck and tail, a small head and a beak-like mouth filled with weird leaf-shaped teeth. And yes, it had feathers, too, making it one of the first therizinosaurs that showed how some dinosaurs ditched meat for plants. And here's the strangest part. Some scientists think Falcarius walked with its hands by its sides instead of holding them up like most animals do. Can you imagine a dinosaur sloth? Now it's your turn. Imagine Falcarius walking through a forest. Draw what you think it looked like. Don't forget to color it, too. Myths and legends, was Falcarius remembered? Native American tales of feathered beasts. Before the days of paleontologists and museums, Native Americans told stories of strange and wondrous creatures that lived in the mountains and forests. These stories were passed down through generations by word of mouth, and they often featured mysterious animals with sharp claws, keen eyesight, and powerful voices. And guess what? Some of those stories might have been ancient memories of Falcarius, the feathered dinosaur that roamed Utah 130 million years ago. One of these stories is the tale of the Pahoa, a feathered spirit with eagle claws that walked like a man. The Pahoa was said to be a trickster and a teacher who lived in the mountains and taught humans how to hunt and fish. Sounds kind of like Falcarius, right? Another story is the legend of the Yaitso, a giant monster with stone-cutting claws that lived in the cliffs and canyons. The Yaitso was said to be so strong that it could cut through rocks and stones as easily as if they were butter. And guess what? That's pretty much what Falcarius's claws would have been like. Oh, and there's also the story of the Cretaceous, a red-haired giant bird that lived in caves and lured travelers to their deaths. The Cretaceous was said to be so scary that no one dared go near it, and it would swoop down from the sky and carry off its prey. Sounds familiar? Maybe it's a coincidence that these stories are similar to what we know about Falcarius today. Maybe it's just the power of storytelling and the human imagination. But maybe, just maybe, these stories are an ancient memory of the feathered dinosaur that once roamed the lands. Miners' ghost stories, the devil bird. As the years went by, Falcarius became a thing of legend, or maybe it just vanished from the minds of living things. But during the 1800s, when Utah's Red Canyon was a hive of mining activity, the story of the devil bird was born. Miners were digging deep into the earth for gold and silver when they started finding strange bones. At first, they thought they were animal bones, but then they realized they'd never seen anything like them before. They were huge, like the size of a giant turkey, but with knife claws. They must have belonged to some kind of monstrous bird, they thought. And as if that wasn't enough, they started hearing eerie cries in the night. They sounded like screams, but they also sounded like the wind whistling through the canyon. And some miners even claimed to have seen the devil bird itself, a huge, shadowy shape with wings like a condor and eyes that burned like hot coals. The miners were scared and confused, so they turned to the local Native Americans for help. And what they heard was even stranger. The Ute people told them that those bones weren't just bones, they were the remains of a sacred spirit that shouldn't be disturbed. They warned the miners to leave the bones alone or the spirit would wake and cause all kinds of havoc. Did Falcarius really haunt the hills of Utah? We don't know for sure. But one thing's for certain, the miners didn't stick around to find out. They packed up and left, leaving behind the bones and the legend of the devil bird. The science of Falcarius, solving the mystery. The dinosaur that quit meat. Now let's talk about one of the coolest things about Falcarius, the transition from meat to plants. See, when Falcarius was just a baby, it was probably a hungry hunter, chasing down small animals with its sharp teeth and claws. But as it grew up, it developed a taste for plants. And we know that because of the clues left behind in its body, specifically its teeth and gut. You see, carnivorous dinosaurs had long, sharp teeth for catching and tearing up meat, but Falcarius had teeth shaped like leaves. And its gut was also different, like a big sack for digesting plants, not a bunch of sharp bits for ripping apart prey. And here's the coolest part. Falcarius is one of the earliest therizinosaurs we've found that shows how some dinosaurs made this switch. It means that scientists can study Falcarius to learn how its relatives evolved over time. And they think that some of them might have kept their claws for defense while munching on leaves. So Falcarius is not just a weird dinosaur, it's also a window into the past. It helps scientists understand how life changed over millions of years, from tiny critters to giant beasts. Did you know? Some scientists think Falcarius lived in herds, like deer. Feathers, mating, and dinosaur dance-offs? Feathers. They're not just for birds, they're also for dinosaurs, especially Falcarius. We don't know exactly what they looked like, but we have some ideas. They might have been long and flowing or short and fluffy, maybe even colorful and flashy. And they probably served a bunch of purposes, like keeping warm in cold mornings or showing off to mates, you know, like a peacock. But feathers aren't everything. Falcarius also had some weird moves. They could use their feathers to scare rivals by fluffing up like a big, clawed turkey. Or maybe they did a dinosaur version of the moonwalk. Just imagine a group of Falcarius doing a feathery dance-off to impress each other. Now that's entertainment. Could Falcarius still be out there? Cryptozoology, the Thunderbird connection. Even though Falcarius has been around for over 130 million years, some people still believe that giant birds exist in remote places, waiting to be discovered. These folks are cryptozoologists, and they search for hidden animals that might be lurking in the shadows. And one of the animals they're after is the legendary thunderbird. Native Americans have told stories of the thunderbird for centuries. It's said to be a massive, feathered creature with a wingspan wider than a house and talons that can crush boulders. Some cryptozoologists think the thunderbird isn't just a myth, it's real, and it lives in the mountains and forests of North America. And here's where things get weird. Some cryptozoologists believe that Falcarius could be related to the thunderbird. They think that Falcarius might have survived the mass extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs and lived on as a giant bird. But wait, there's more. In recent years, people have reported seeing strange birds in the wilderness, birds that are bigger than condors and have huge, clawed feet. Are they just misidentified condors, or could they be something more? Some cryptozoologists think they might be the elusive thunderbird, and maybe they're related to Falcarius. Falcarius in pop culture. From ancient myths to modern movies, Falcarius is slowly becoming famous. One of its most famous appearances is in the documentary, Prehistoric Planet, on Apple TV+, narrated by Sir David Attenborough. The episode featuring Falcarius is all about feathers and dinosaurs, and it shows how Falcarius used its feathers for display and mating. Falcarius also makes an appearance in the video game, Ark: Survival Evolved. In the game, players can tame a Falcarius and ride it into battle. It is a cool addition to the game because Falcarius is a unique and mysterious creature that not many people know about. Fun activities and learning. How to draw Falcarius. Ready to unleash your inner artist and bring Falcarius to life on paper? Here's a step-by-step guide to help you out. Start with the body. Make a rounded shape like a bean for the belly and connect it to a smaller oval for the chest. Then add the limbs. Give Falcarius 2 pairs of legs and 2 arms, and make sure those arms end in sharp claws. Don't forget the neck. Connect the head and tail to the rest of the body with a long, graceful line. Now add some detail. Give Falcarius a beak, some sharp teeth and beady eyes. Don't forget to draw its feathers. Show off its fluffiness with some light lines and curves. And finally, color it in. Choose colors that reflect its unique features and personality. Maybe give those claws a pop of bright red or those feathers a touch of brilliant blue. With a little imagination and creativity, you'll have a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that captures the essence of Falcarius. Chapter 10. Create your own dinosaur myth. Now it's your turn to become a storyteller and create your own myth about Falcarius. Think about what ancient people might have said about this strange creature. What kind of legends or stories would they have told about its adventures or mishaps? Maybe Falcarius was a hero that saved a village from a terrible monster or a trickster who played pranks on unsuspecting humans. Let your imagination run wild and create a story that brings